My name is Eloísa Lewis, also known as Elsa worldwide by my friends, cohorts, and vagabonds. And I'm just excited to be here with y'all today. So thank you for coming and taking a moment with me and my cohorts. All right. So, if you've never heard of me before, you don't know about my company, I'm a climate scientist and a permaculture designer. If you don't know what permaculture is, it's a design science focused on ecosystem regeneration and circular economies. What's special about permaculture and regenerative sciences is that we're not using any toxic materials. We're also sourcing locally, we're recycling as much as possible, we're definitely taking into account our environmental impact to the highest degree. The practices that we use at New Climate Culture are really the best in the world, and if anyone's doing it better, we want them on the team. We want to know about it. So I'm proud of my company, I'm proud of the people I work with, I'm really grateful for them. Really grateful for our network because what I like to say, and it's on our website and it's in our economics school, we're offering basically a no bullshit, no greenwashing guarantee. So if you don't know what greenwashing is the practice of selling something to the public, to the consumers, or to the government as sustainable and renewable when it is in fact not. Recently, I was interviewed by Politico alongside the sustainability director of ExxonMobil, Toyota, AT&T, Google, and we were all asked the same question: what is sustainability? Well, my answer was a bit different than everyone else's, and I think that's what makes New Climate Culture special. My answer is that sustainability is about longevity. We want to build systems that are going to last hundreds, if not thousands of years, providing water, remediation, food, disaster resilience for communities. I like to think in timescales like 300, 400 to 1,000 years. Why that's important is because that's low cost, high yield types of system management, as well as low maintenance in the sense of the maintenance that's required is going to be only so that we can use the most biodegradable, compostable, non-toxic materials. So when any maintenance does need to happen, it's only to replace any kind of natural degradation that would happen in what's already like compostable or biodegradable, and replace it again with its parentage, which we produce on our farms through renewable resource cycles. So, okay, I'll get started. That's my introduction here. And there I am, and I'm an expert on life-affirming strategies. So life-affirming strategies is really important in climate science because we're talking about bringing the most people in the planet into a new paradigm. We're not trying to isolate communities and prioritize rich people over poor people, or people who look a certain way, or a certain religion, or have a certain nationality. We're not trying to prioritize any certain group. We want to work with everybody. My expertise, yes, on paper and in universities and in research institutions is also called decolonization. Specifically, there's many types of climate scientists out there, and mine is specifically about decolonization. So we focus on the built environment, disaster resilience, and a lot of understanding what is wrong with the environment and our infrastructure is understanding trauma. That the infrastructure itself is traumatizing us, and we're in an inherent disaster all the time. For me, if I can't source my own clean water for free under my own feet or from the sky, I'm in a crisis. If I can't source my own food from around me for free, I'm in a crisis. I'm a refugee. So when we think about third world countries and first world countries, I really want everyone to forget that language. There's no third world countries, there's no first world countries, there's just over and underdeveloped spaces. Overdeveloped spaces, again, they're gonna remove you from the flexible nature of the environment and the regenerative nature of the ecosystem that's already built in to life. And underdeveloped spaces are spaces where they're so connected to the nature that they might not have the infrastructure for basic health amenities like clean water or clean air. There's benefits to overdeveloped spaces and benefits to underdeveloped spaces. Often underdeveloped spaces have the cleanest soil, for example, and no infrastructure to poison the land that they're on. Overdeveloped spaces have a lot of communities and people coming together, which is a big benefit. But again, for someone like me, I come from an experience and a culture that demands that I need to have access to those life-giving resources without any corporation or government getting in between me and them. And yeah, that's where we're starting. We're thinking about this tension of scarcity in our global civilization is created between the tension between over and underdeveloped spaces. Underdeveloped spaces are often the ones that are being exploited and having their resources extracted to move those resources into the overdeveloped spaces that we continue to over and over and over develop and just pour more and more onto in the hopes that somehow these overdeveloped spaces will get better and will be in some kind of like a virtual reality. I really think that that's a false paradigm. I really think that that is an idea that was implanted into pop culture to basically distract us from the reality of nature. And I would like to make the claim that New Climate Culture can do more. The principles that New Climate Culture operates under, and anyone who would be affiliated with us or similar to us, would be doing more for the environment than Tesla, SpaceX, or any of these like really popular, big hedge fund groups, banks, etc. Even carbon sequestration groups that I've audited personally are just not on our level. We're pushing, our practices are even more leading the climate industry than like UN standards, for example. So I would love to consult the USDA to help them understand what regenerative farming is, because many of the practices are not good for our environment, our bodies, our communities, etc. So what we're doing when we're thinking about infrastructure, when we're thinking about goods, when we're thinking about building, when we're thinking about disasters, is reimagining civilization altogether. Which I know is like a complex ask to put on the table for anyone, to ask them to try and restart what they think that society should look like and civilization should be. However, my grandfather was born before the car was invented, so that means when he was growing up on his farm, he was riding a horse to school, he was riding a horse to get whatever goods he needed from the town. By the time my grandpa passed away, we have recreational space travel. So I can understand that I'm giving a big ask to my human family when I'm asking us to reimagine our infrastructure across every municipality in every nation state, in every colonized region of the world. But I know that humans are very resourceful, talented, impressive creatures. And so I think that with an open heart and open mind and an active stake in this, we can accomplish whatever we need to. Okay, a little more pictures of community. A farm in Nicaragua that I've worked with, farm in London, if anyone's been to the Hackney Central Farm in London. These are some examples of interventions that have been made or that have been sustained over time in urban centers where people are able to access farm fresh food, local food. I've been living in Montreal recently, and I would love to see portions of that city given up and allocated for growing livestock for that municipality, for example, so that we're not, and in a regenerative manner. Organic, free range. We have a lot of ideas across a lot of sectors. Of course, as researchers, we're keeping up with the cutting edge. We're not trying to reinvent the wheel. We partner with groups that are established, agencies and institutions that are established, that are doing the best at what they do in their region. Because we are worldwide, we are an international company working across North America and Europe. So we look to so many different partners and affiliates, which I'll talk about more soon, to accomplish our goals, implement our designs, and help change culture, which is why the company is called New Climate Culture. Because it really is about culture. It really is about our lifestyle changing. I know that that's sometimes scary, but it's also very exciting considering we know that what we're doing now is exhausting. What we're doing now is extractive. The lifestyles we have, even like the 9 to 5 instead of the 4-hour workday, all of that, I want to challenge that in every nation state that I feel is extracting its own people's resources unfairly. Any company that I feel is like abusing its workforce. I want to come in and help with my cultural consultants. I want to come in and readjust so that we can have healthy economies, regenerative relationships, again, regenerative culture, so that it's not even a question of what should we do next, but that we're doing what we know we need to be doing now. Permaculture design, and we're including KNF, Korean Natural Farming, which was invented by Master Cho. Jadam, invented by his son. KNF is organic pesticides, so we can replace Monsanto, Roundup. Poison in our food, poison in our water, poison for the animals. We're going to replace that. We're doing that internationally already with our affiliates. Free-range organic farming, that's our expertise. We have certain species that we work with at the forefront, such as hemp, algae, mushrooms, and more, kelp, coral, and biodynamic farming. And of course, we're looking to ancient techniques plus modern techniques to optimize our systems. So we're speeding up ecosystem regeneration at the most rapid pace across species and bioregions of any group of any category of biologists in the world. If you're in the category of permaculture, you can be sure that you're at the forefront of ecosystem regeneration. It's been proven over the last 50 years. So we at New Climate Culture and our affiliates are racing at the edge of these sciences. We're really racing. We're really an ambitious group, I have to admit. It's lovely. It's lovely to work with people who are fed by the information of knowing that people are looking to us to answer the climate crisis. That's very important to us. So we are always learning. We are lifelong students. And some examples of what the teams are up to, the designs we're doing, the remediation behind it. I'm going to talk about my team for a second now. So one person on the team is Ashley Lillis. She's the former Director of Conservation for the entire Caribbean region for the Nature Conservancy. She farms coral reefs. She's one of only a few dozen people in the world with this level of expertise. We need Ashley to be leading this effort worldwide, and people like Ashley. When Ashley grows the coral, she grows it in farms where we raise and lower the temperature of the water so that the baby corals, as they are maturing, are prepared for the conditions in the ocean that they're going to have to face for survival. We also have people on the team who are working with mushrooms for material sciences, for replacing plastic, for replacing bricks, for replacing all kinds of different substrates that would be made out of plastic or styrofoam that would degrade the environment. And not only if you're working with one of these mushroom systems, like let's say we have mushroom packaging, you could break it up and myceliate or like spore your garden or your farm with it afterwards. So this is really about a switch from thinking about what we've been doing, what we think we have to do, to what my friends and I are doing that we're very confident in. There's people training mealworms to eat styrofoam, right, in our cohorts. There's people, when we talk about speeding up the regeneration of an ecosystem, I've been talking today and recently about topsoil. So a 1-inch layer of topsoil is really important for an ecosystem to sequester carbon, to provide macro and micronutrients and the right bacteria in the soil, to make sure that the system draws the most, again, carbon from the air, but also provides the most for the plants growing in it. So that these plants aren't empty of nutrients like a lot of the food that we eat today, but they're actually full of information and life, because that's what we've given them. So we can take that process, which would take normally, without human intervention, 500 years for that 1 inch of topsoil. And by implementing Jadam methods, we can speed that process up to 3 months. I don't think that people really understand how powerful that is. To take a process that would naturally happen from 500 years down to 3 months, because of our patience and our understanding of nature itself. Another example of that would be a permaculture food forest. So a food forest is then, we just talked about the topsoil, now let's talk about the whole structure, the whole system design of permaculture, which often focuses on food forests. Food forests are basically wild farms. You can think of it like that. And with the least intervention. The idea is that the farm becomes so resilient and so well cultivated that you don't have to do very much maintenance in order to get the highest yields at the lowest cost. It takes an upfront investment, but the costs diminish over time and the yields increase exponentially. So what might take a natural forest to get to the same state of calling it a food forest, of qualifying as a food forest, could take around 100 years to be conservative. And we can speed that down between 3 and 25 years. So again, we're talking about really speeding up time itself when we're working with the plants. Speeding up time because we're learning from the nature, we're observing the nature. This is called biomimicry. We're watching what the temple of nature, what the great teacher of nature does to heal itself. Because it will heal itself without us. There's no question. So we're just figuring out how it's going to heal itself, how it does heal itself, replicating that, duplicating that, and fractaling it out across the planet as fast as possible. Another way to think about that would be called terraforming. So when we think about space exploration and space travel and development off planet, I think about all the money that's being spent on that research and investment, and it hurts me. Because I'm on Earth, and Earth needs help. And I think about terraforming Mars, and I think that's got to be the most ridiculous thing that we're considering in this moment, considering not everyone is well-fed or taken care of or sheltered here on Earth first. We have so many people on the team. Who else should I talk about? We have a hemp farmer on the team, USDA organic certified hemp farmer, using all these practices. So you can come out to a demonstration site if you like. Come check it out and hang out with us, see what it's like, see if you want to grow some hemp. We want to help people start farms. We want to help people start businesses that are renewable. We can consult from energy to transportation, infrastructure, land development, all the way to culture, just corporate culture. And it's all within the regeneration, the remediation, putting this information out into the world so that it can be duplicated and spread and carried. Because the people who carry this information, the people who carry these seeds, are going to be people who actually have any chance surviving through this climate crisis. Because if you're relying on corporations, governments, nonprofits to take care of you and your community, you're not really protecting your securities, in my eyes. The best way to protect your securities is to create systems that are hard to break, if not impossible to break. That's why I talk about longevity and sustainability. I want to have 400-year-old to 1,000-year-old gray water systems for my community so that we don't need to buy water filters, so that we can have natural water filters made from the minerals, the rocks, and the plants, so that there's no need for my children to buy a part for an air purifier that comes from who knows where, because the air purification system is in the plants and the children of the plants, the pups, the seeds. I think this information is profound. Okay, we've talked about rebuilding some topsoil with Janam. We're definitely, if you haven't heard the word remediation before of soil and water, remediation means healing, taking toxins out of. We have Dave Totoro on the team who works with municipalities and corporations to clean up oil spills. And our directors are project managers. We're not we're not just out here alone. We're ready to partner up with the best. So we want to find the best. We want to find y'all. We want y'all to find us. We're going to remediate, and we've been remediating that soil and water and air. We know how to create fireproof structures, especially with earthen building techniques. We know all about hurricane-proof structures and stable designs of all kinds, including nomadic structures that you have to throw up and take down in a refugee zone. Famine-proof communities, that's the heart and soul of what a food forest is. It's not just providing food abundance, because first of all, if you heard some kind of myth about overpopulation, that's a lie. There's not too many people on the planet, it's just that we're farming our food wrong. So if we were farming our food more correctly, I guarantee, we would be surrounded by food right now. It'd be all around us, even inside, the convention center wants to hire me. So we'd put it on the walls, on the ceiling coming down. Famine-proof communities, yeah, wow. I never heard that before. Off the grid, decentralized. You don't want to be you want to be grid resilient. You don't want to be grid dependent, right? I come from Arizona, where they make it illegal to collect your own rainwater. That's warfare to me. I don't want to have to go get propane. I want to use biogas. Shout out to the biogas gang and company. You can make your own natural gas to use your propane stove with your own compost, your own food waste. I see some heads nodding. That makes me feel good. Go tell your friends. Flood-proof designs, water catchments, functional water catchments, water diversions. You can think of it as digging a big hole to prepare for that flood, so that when the flood comes, the water goes into that big hole that you've already dug. And you can pipe that water into your municipality, your farm, whatever. Divert it. And we really listen to the water. We have some of the most powerful and impressive team members are coming from watershed management background. Shout out Jonah Ivy and his mentor, Brad Lancaster. We're really doing things that people would believe as impossible, especially in places like Arizona, where we're from. I'm from, Jonah's from, Brad is from. We're all from Arizona. It's a desertified region. We're reversing desertification. We're refilling aquifers. Water management, back where I come from, Scottsdale, Arizona, horrifying. But there is enough rainfall in the year that if you had your own rainwater catchments on your land in any desertified part of Arizona, you wouldn't need any city to give you any water. As long as it was legal to collect it and you were able to have those catchments, you'd be just fine. You could even farm with it. Right, so we're talking about real municipal watershed management. So why would collecting rainwater be illegal? Well, when I don't collect the rainwater, it goes into a gutter. That gutter goes to a canal. That canal is the municipal city water supply. Who am I buying water back from? The city. This just ain't right to me. All right, so remediation of marine environments, especially with kelp, coral, and algae and other invertebrates. We have some invertebrate specialists on the team, algae specialists on the team, kelp farming, wow. It's exciting stuff. Kelp is cool because it has so many functions. It's not just food for people, it's also food for livestock and soil. Same with algae. One of the most beautiful things I've ever experienced was watching Ashley Lillis, the resident coral expert, grafting baby coral onto grandmother reefs out in the Caribbean. And she's doing this all over the world. She's been all along the African coast this year and soon into Asia. We're lucky to have her. So we've got these proven organic pesticides for that large-scale organic sustainable agriculture. Yes, like we can do it in a way that's more close to traditional farming. But I still want to help the USDA because they're asking my farmer friends to till the soil. And that's just inappropriate. When we think about earthquake, volcano-proof stuff, we're thinking about the big disasters, tsunamis, hurricanes, the stuff that you think, heaven is raining down on us. Well, an obvious solution to the most disastrous types of events that occur within nature is to migrate. So if anyone wants to talk to New Climate Culture, we've got your migration policy well thought out. Because there's only going to be more refugees, there's only going to be more people looking for a safe place to move and go. And I know that there's people out here and out there who are going to exploit that to create warfare and profit. So how are we going to stop that? Well, I have an idea. And I would love to talk to y'all about it more. But we're getting to the end of my lecture here. So, increasing biodiversity is the #1 solution across sectors to solve the climate crisis. You can make as many solar panels as you want, as many windmills, as many diagrams, as many Instagram posts as you want. But if we're not increasing biodiversity across all bioregions in the planet, as many as possible, we're not going to have the basic infrastructure of nature to rely on because we've extracted all the renewable resources without renewing themselves, right? So if you cut down a tree, you don't have any more seeds of any more trees. You keep a tree, then you have all its children. It's just like that across any species. You remove, and biodiversity is important also, like we just had COVID, right? When you want to create immunity in your community, when you want to create immunity in your body, that relies on biodiversity. Biodiversity is going to provide genetics that are going to prove resilient across species for our food, for our health, and also just for themselves. We need to create resilient strains, and we are creating, and nature's creating, we're just working hand in hand with nature, again, taking its lead. Creating drought resilient seeds through just organic farming methods. I'm sure we can partner with many types of labs as well and have when we have labs, but our focus is working on things outdoors especially because of the carbon sequestration focus of the climate. Yep, we're more important than solar panels and rockets and everything like that. Because without us, these things still fail to understand the collapse of our ecosystems and our water and our renewable supply chains. So we know that coal is not a renewable resource. We know that fossil fuel is not a renewable resource, right? But compost is a renewable resource because you're gonna grow food and you're gonna have food waste forever. So these are like these new systems that we need to think about. What are we producing? Can it reproduce itself? If it can reproduce itself, that's like the eternal gift that keeps on giving. Especially if you're starting a business for your legacy, for your children. Because then once we get started, you know, your kids, your grandkids are gonna have that resource for forever. Whether it's the kelp or the mushrooms or acorns or a whole host of many species working together, chickens and legumes and fruit trees and all kinds of things. So yes, I really do want to terraform the earth, and I want that big money is what I say, like that big money, because I can't imagine other groups outside of our network doing better with those resources. And I'm worried, like I'm concerned. I'm not here to be like, oh, we're the best, we're so good, like let me pat myself on my back. I'm actually like, no, please check my math because I think I have a solution here. I'm proposing a real solution. My team and I are proposing a real solution. And I think that we're leaders, so I'm excited to continue to talk to the media and the press about what we're doing and more businesses so that we can continue to expand. Yeah, I don't think that anyone's gonna do it better than myself and my cohorts. I've been out here for 10 years in the field. Every single person on my team is hand-selected. The finest fruits off of each tree. And I think we're like who the world is searching for, right? Like I feel that in my company. I'm lucky like that I feel like when people are going out online and to the television and to the universities and they're saying, oh my God, what's next? How do I fix the climate crisis? What's climate science? I have climate anxiety. I want myself, you know, my co-founder William Padilla Brown, I want people on my team, all y'all, to be the faces and the people who represent the solution and the answers to the climate crisis. Because I know that I've been put alongside some people that might claim that they're doing something right for the environment. I really recommend checking out that Politico article. Very short Politico article I'm in. But I ask myself who we want to trust, considering the last 100 years of a track record of industry. So I scouted and recruited to find my team, and I like to say that we are unstoppable forces of nature ourselves. Right. So we have a lot of different designs and ideas for urban centers and off-the-grid areas. This is like just a little sample photo from Arco Santi. If anybody knows Arco Santi out in Arizona, it's eco-city, experimental eco-city. We're excited to work with anyone who's working on, especially real estate development and architectural development in the climate realm, because often these people have structural knowledge, but they don't have, again, any biological understanding. So I think that the more that we can couple with people who have infrastructure and structural understanding, we're really going to optimize these systems to the point where people are going to get a sense of relief when they walk outside instead of constant, you know, anyone like me who knows what's wrong with the infrastructure gets this sense of kind of disgust when we walk around, seeing how broken civilization is and how enslaved we are by it. We're really held hostage by these systems. And it's interesting to me that like the climate and what climate science is implies and demands that we have to break these old systems down. In fact, it gives me a lot of hope that that's the case. It's very interesting to me. And yeah, you can come by and talk at our booth. We're over here in the corner. 413, if you find us on the map, booth 413. That's really my talk for today. So if you have any questions, I'm here for that. I'm here for any of your questions. Thank you for listening. I hope that this all made sense to you and that you're excited maybe to learn more in the future. So thank you. Yep. newclimateculture.com. I'm glad everybody, I'm happy for questions. I don't have to answer any questions. I can answer all your questions too, either way. Definitely let it sink in and marinate these ideas. Look into permaculture. Look into new climate culture. We're liberating the land. We're liberating ourselves with these systems. What's up? Hi. Do we have any demonstration sites? We don't have any demonstration sites in Miami yet, but we do have a lot of partners and friends here in the farming communities. So we're getting started. My company started in March of 2022, so we're not even a year old. But we would love to have a presence down here in Florida, as I know that Florida is going to be well impacted. And I think there's going to be refugees in all coastal environments. I think there's going to be coastal refugees, and we should start thinking about it now. I think everyone should start thinking about, again, think about 100 years from now and the kind of infrastructure you want to set up and life you want to set up for whoever's coming after you, whether it's within your personal family or just the human family in general. It's good to start getting prepared now, and I think already so many people are feeling the effects of these crises, and extraction was the precursor to climate science, right? The extraction of the fossil fuels, the extraction of the resources. So there was already refugees coming from those extractive sites. There was already people being impacted by that for centuries. This mechanism moving forward of basically just raping the land and the people. And I'd really just like to help everyone put an end to that. Thank you for your question. Yes.
Do you have a partnership with the government or the companies?
We have a lot of partnerships with a lot of really cool companies. You can check it out on our website. We have all past clients that we've worked with. We have current partners. I can also get in a call with you if you've got a specific niche that you're in, and then we can hone in on that, because we've worked with people in all industries: fashion industry, food industry, blockchain, crypto, academic research institutions, food industry. And we just want to continue to grow and work with everyone. We see everyone as our ally and friend, honestly. That's why I say peace worldwide every day. We don't have any government contracts yet, but we would love them. I'm happy to partner with any nation state in the world to improve policy and infrastructure. Absolutely. I'll just wait another minute, and then I'll say thank you. Yeah, if you want to, you can definitely find ways to contact us on our website. If you want to get directly to me, to Eloísa at newclimateculture.com. Eloisa at newclimateculture.com. And you can come by our booth, 413. We've got tons of cards. Yeah, no problem. Okay, well, thank you everybody so much, because this is really fun. And I hope that everybody learned something. And yeah, y'all don't even need to worry about clapping. I'm just have a great day. It's Miami. The weather's great. And let's be optimistic and change this world for the better and save as many lives as possible. and not stereotype and not discriminate anyone, because everybody needs to be included in the beautiful future. Peace worldwide. Thanks.
Do you have a car?
Not on me.
Okay. Fascinating talk.
Thank you. Thank you so much.